So remember when Canada used to be a stable economy and had illustrious resources, natural resources like gas, oil, and the mining was strong back then. We used to be able to sustain our economy, and we were on par with the rest of the G7, and we were even stronger than the US economy at one point. Our dollar was higher than the US dollar. We had a dollar worth more than the US dollar. Now, about 12 years after that point, back when it was the same in 2012 and 2013, those years, we now sit at a horrible, absolutely garbage economic position now. Now, many will wonder, how could something like this happen? We were so strong, and how did things just fall off in 10 years? It is honestly very, very sad. It started off with the housing. It started off then with housing prices rocketing up in the sky. Now we have an influx of immigrants that are not able to find jobs and are living in horrible conditions, and Canadians can't find jobs now who've been here for decades. Everything has gone to shit. So why? So we can start the story off from when the Canadian economy was stable and on par with the United States. Canada was considered an economic success story, having saved themselves from the grand calamities of the financial crisis in 2008, mostly coming out unscathed because due to the conservative banking practices of the Canadian Big Five banks, and also a strong natural resource market and housing market. Very different from the current situation in Canada. Since then, however, what has happened? Well, for one thing, oil and resource revenues have crashed. Canada's economic success has been closely tied with oil prices, particularly from the oil sands. However, global oil price collapse in 2014 and onward severely impacted revenues from Canada's energy sector, leading to slower economic growth compared to the USA, which diversified its economy and became a major energy producer due to shale oil. Another point to mention is the attitude of the federal government to oil and climate change, considering that they have associated oil and climate change as one and one. The federal government, mostly led by Justin Trudeau, has taken an opposing and aggressive and standoffish stance against the oil sector and has punished the oil sector, and as a result has punished the Canadian economy. Another thing is Canada's household debt. Canada households and government and the federal government has taken on significant debt over the last decade. High household debt, increasing public debt have weakened economic resilience compared to the United States. The rising rates of interest have made servicing this debt more expensive, further slowing growth. And then also weaker productivity. Canada has been lagging behind in productivity growth, which is key to longer-term economic prosperity. U.S. firms, particularly in tech and innovation sectors, have surged ahead, while Canada's business investment in these areas have been lower. While Canada has experienced strong population growth, especially due to immigration, the economy hasn't grown fast enough to absorb all these new entrants into the workforce, which has diluted per capita income growth. Struggling with inflation and housing costs, Canada comes out to be very, very, very strong in this field. Persistent inflation, especially in housing and food, has eroded purchasing power, whereas the United States has been seen as a faster recovery from inflation spikes due to good and well planning by the federal government of the United States in Washington, D.C. Despite your opinions about the Democrats in the USA, they have done well for the economy there. Not so much for our Liberals over here in Canada. Justin Trudeau can be held responsible for all of these economic policy and their outputs now. Weaker productivity can be attributed to him for not investing properly in the Canadian economy, destroying the oil sands by being so standoffish and aggressive to oil companies, high debt levels with the soaring house prices in Canada, and the government debt that he took on before and after COVID. That's attributed to Justin Trudeau. And also the last is the inflation in housing costs, which of course due to the excessive immigration that Justin Trudeau has partaken in and bringing in anyone and everyone into Canada, it has now become a very large issue, but that was not to anyone's surprise. Everyone has seen this coming. It's time to take a stand and a hard line and say what we need to be saying, and that is Justin Trudeau is not working in Canada's benefit. You got a madman on the wheels, and taking the wheel right now. And it's steering us in a very, very, very bad direction. Thank you very much for watching the Econ Opinion. I hope you enjoyed some of my perspective today. Please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. Also consider sharing with friends and family if you found this video informative. Thank you very much for watching.